Hey, it's Soul with some more Horrific Vision commentary, a series where I take classes that I never really learned how to play, gear them up with only outdoor world content and horrific visions, and then complete a 5 chest run. We are in Orgrimmar today with an Assassination Rogue. He's sporting an item level of 435 with no real focus on Azeroth traits. He has one corruption piece with a level 3 echoing void, so hide your kids, right? He has a cloak rank of 10, which is 45% sanity resistance, and a neck level of 78. His main essence is Breath of the Dying, with Purification Protocol, Condensed Life Force, and Memory of Lucid Dreams as minors, all of which were bought using Echoes of Nyalotha. For talents, he's running with Elaborate Planning, Subterfuge, Vigor, Leeching Poison, Iron Wire, Venom Rush, and Poison Bomb. He's spec'd for solo play, and has 1 point in Vision Hunter. For food buffs, he's got ghastly goulash and kebabs are at the ready, so let's get started. So as a bit of a retrospective, I was kind of surprised at how much I enjoyed running as a rogue, because I normally have like a total aversion to stealth classes and in general. So anyway, I'm starting off by stealthing through the middle, and I'm going to go for the bouncers right up there. It's not so much. I found this run to be fairly easy, not exactly because, hey, I can stealth and do things and all that, but I just found that the execution of rogue abilities just feels really strong once I was able to kind of figure out, oh, so that's how they work. Okay, apply the poisons, stack the stuff, use the envenom, and then watch the numbers go flying. Because I'm not really used to DPS classes or pure DPS classes. The closest thing would be like a hunter, and they have a nice visceral feel to it, but hunters are very direct. It's not just the pet that's doing the work for me. I'm doing this stuff like manually, and so that felt really good, actually. So of course I'm skipping whatever the heck mobs that I can, just going past all these things. I already looked at the vial to see which thing would help me out the most. Going back to the whole learning experience, I think the rogue is one of the areas or one of the classes where I experienced like a lot more growth than I did with the other classes, because I had to develop like an entirely different mindset on how I normally play the World of Warcraft, which is usually as a tank. And once upon a time it was as a caster, but I mean that was like forever ago. So anyway, we're going for the elites. Just quick application of the poisons while I was stealth, and then I'm just going to town. So the idea here for me was to apply lots of AoE, apply poisons to all these mobs, wait until they're low health, basically, and then use Reaping Flames. So there's a lot of reliance on my control of Reaping Flames to make sure that I use it to kill mobs. So that way I get that extra buff, which will enable me to do additional, I believe, double the damage that it normally would, which would hopefully kill them, and then I would just kind of chain it from there. So that's kind of the approach that I took with most of the DPS classes here. With the rogue, it felt especially efficient, because in this case, I was able to kind of sort of get multiple mobs, and in this case, use Fan of Knives to build combo points, hopefully lay down poison bombs, as you see right there, and then from there, just kind of control the mobs. So in this case, I'm controlling the big marshmallow dude so I can avoid getting hit with the Void Buffet, which I did get hit by there, because I suck, kind of. But no, truth be told, like this run went pretty well, if I'm remembering this correctly. It's the 21st when I did this run, and it's been like almost 2 weeks now before I finally get around to doing commentary. So I'm going around here so I can do a quick skip, and of course I can do a nice little healthy stealth around. I don't know why I'm trying to jump over it. Oh wait, I know why. It's because I learned a lesson before, and those guys stealth detect, but apparently I didn't learn the lesson here. And so I just went right into him. Good going. So this will make me lose like just a little bit of time, but it's not exactly the end of the world. These particular mobs, they're not very threatening. They just take up time. So I lose a little bit there. Not a big deal though. And now I can just kind of go for like these other guys, like immediately. So by using my Reaping Flames, I make quick work of the Shaman, go straight for the other guy, and you can see like just how quickly I cut through those guys with Reaping Flame. Between that and Condensed Life Force, those do some really strong hits. Of course, so does Reaping Flame, the minor. So I go for this next pack here. I typically start with the caster, then followed by the berserkers, but you can see that I'm just like mowing these guys down. It's pretty impressive, like how, you know, once you get to a certain point with your cloak rank, it becomes a lot more trivial. I mean, of course, getting more cloak rank is like the strategy to have, but you know, really, what I'm trying to do is demonstrate is how this can kind of overcome, I guess, low skill. Because you saw like the Reaping Flames that already took off like maybe like 30 something percent of its life. And then just following a basic rotation will help get you through. Of course, the experience of doing this dozens and dozens of times definitely helps too. How I had the fortitude to do this, I don't know. I just felt particularly motivated knowing that this is something that I can do on my own and build up on my own. So anyway, now we're going off to the next area here. We're dealing with Leaden Foot. This is something that I did not really have to deal with before, because I did manage to 4-chest this, but that was with me doing Rexar and not this particular area. This area just takes time, whereas with Rexar, I can use my good old Rexar skip. So going for this next set of mobs here, I decided to take these guys like on their own. My sanity is at around 1/3 or so. I still have 3 orbs though, so I'm still in a good spot. So with that guy down, like I have a little bit more time on me. So I move forward a little bit, take care and start applying dots, and then of course try to take care of the Dominator first. Down it goes really quick, and now my sanity is running really low. So it's really important that when you're going through here, try to maximize like your sanity. You know, get yourself as low as you can go until you feel like, okay, now's a good time that I should like take a quick break, get a breather in this case. So here I go for waiting instead of just pulling, because I wanted to go in and apply a bunch of, apply poisons to each of these guys before they burrow and otherwise start causing me problems. And this is my first or second run through here, and these guys they get melted. I was really impressed with how I did this run. I think I probably could have done this at lower ranks. I think part of the reason why I didn't was mostly confidence. That, and I believe I did Stormwind first anyway, so my cloak rank just happened to be a little bit higher anyway. And down that thing goes. One more mob, and then we're ready to move on. So we're really good on sanity right now. We're ready to get, really pretty well caught up. All right, so here we go. I think at that point I was like hesitating. Okay, should I stealth in? Does he detect? Oh yeah, he does detect. Screw it. Let's go ahead and let's go ahead and do it. And so as a melee class, of course, I don't have to worry about the Howling of Pain. Just just deal with the throwback damage, run out of it, save my movements. Just make sure you're not moving when the throw happens. That way you will still have low stacks of Leaden Foot, and I'll be able to move fairly quickly. And down he goes. Nice and smooth. So now for this guy. This is a good example of where using Fan of Knives to build combo points really quickly, so I can just throw down a bunch of poison bombs quickly. That's where this definitely plays in. You can see like those guys go down quick. That guy goes down quick. And a lot of that damage actually didn't come from using Fan of Knives. It actually came from my Condensed Life Force because of the... I'm sorry, not Condensed Life Force. Purification Protocol, because it does some really high AoE bursts in a small area. So now we're taking on this big guy, and movement here, it's a little bit sketch, but thankfully it's counteracted by the fact that he just goes down really, really fast. And so I'm really impressed by just having 1 point in Vision Hunter lets me do this, lets me put out this much DPS. And I believe I think I did utilize Vendetta. I think that's what it's called. I think the most important thing compared to Stormwind is that I did apply my poisons early on. For those of you who watch my Stormwind commentary, I totally forgot to put them on for like the longest time. And I'm like, oh, right, let's go ahead and put this stuff on. Here we can see that Echoing Void does play into this particular fight fairly well too. It helps to whittle down these ads that otherwise might cause me a little bit of trouble, just with raw damage. But Goulash is more than enough to take care of it. So down that guy goes. We're done over here. Let's get out of here, go to the other side, and take care of business. So the important thing that I always stress in each and every of these runs that I do is that despite my confidence, you don't want to be complacent. You don't want to get cocky, because that's what causes wipes. And that's held true every time that I've gotten like really cocky about something, and I'd overpull, and more often than not, then I would end up using an extra life needlessly. Definitely not good. So now we're kind of crawling our way to the next area. And it is nice being able to stealth and, get past these guys without having to worry about too much. And I'm not quite sure why I pulled these guys. I don't know why I fought these guys. There's really no reason. Oh well. I can't speak to the person that I was 2 weeks ago. But anyway, we're gonna move on. Go off to the next area. But not before. Let's see. Okay, yeah, there we go. Yeah, so I was being nice and insidious there to stand in Promise Power, look at the tentacle, and then boom, Reaping Flames it, with a one-shot kill. That felt really good. And Reaping Flames is definitely an all-star when it comes to playing as DPS in these particular runs. I mean, in some cases, Essence of the Focusing Iris does really well if you're lacking in the AoE department. In this case, though, the Rogue is doing just fine, but I opted for Assassination as opposed to Combat, mostly because of the feel. I miss Outlaw. I liked the play of Outlaw. I'm sorry, I like the play of Combat Rogues once upon a time when I tried them out, because I didn't really have to stealth at all or do anything like that. But with Assassination, this kind of gives me just a nice direct feel. And Outlaw these days, I just wasn't fond of the whole idea of rolling for dice and hoping for the best, and then I can do damage. And Blade Flurry was nice, but I don't know, I just couldn't really get used to the feel of it. So Assassination was by choice. I'm actually using not so ideal weapons. I have better non-dagger weapons, but I decided, you know what? I think I like this spec better. It feels better for this particular content. So anyway, I've been talking about not the present stuff. So let's get back to the vision. So I go for that tentacle first. That one tends to give me more trouble than the Mind Carver would. So I go for that one first, followed by the Mind Carver. I just make sure to keep that guy locked down. And now we're ready to backtrack just a little bit, open up these doors. My sanity is getting pretty low, but it's enough that I can, just kind of inch forward just a little bit. I just got to really judge my timing appropriately. So right now, once that thing goes, so I'll go for this guy. And I think I did go for the other one. Actually, I think I didn't. I think I wanted to go for this guy first, orb, and then go for the, So I'm going to orb here, then go for the Dominator, followed by his lovely little friends. We're waiting. And then I body pulled. That wasn't ideal. All right, but I at least take care of interrupting the Touch of Abyss. Make sure to do that all the time, every time. A little bit of Fan and Ice to build up combo points, and then I'll just go to town on these dudes. Dominator goes down, followed by the Mind Carver. Hopefully by the Mind Carver. To be honest, like right here, I'm targeting the big guy. I should be targeting the Mind Carver instead, because right there, that fear goes off, and that could be a little bit troublesome, especially at higher level play. Like if you're doing this with multiple masks, you definitely want to make sure that you take care of the mobs that either provide debuffs on you. So you either want to cleanse them or stop those mobs from applying debuffs. And then, of course, take care of ones that can crowd control you. Fears, stuns, that sort of thing. So we're dealing with this guy on top of Scorched Feet, which can be a little bit troublesome for melee. So here I'm just going to try to get a little bit close to this guy, trying to break his shield. And then before the Void Torrent goes off, so in this case, I think I got paranoid because Hot Feet was about to go off, and if I inched forward, it would make me jump, and so I would get screwed. In this case, though, I got screwed anyway. That clearly didn't work out. But there, I happened to use my Shadow Step to get a little bit closer to him. But I was struggling a little bit on this guy. I was goofing up, but it's mostly because of Hot Feet. If it wasn't for that, then I would have had considerably less trouble. Unless, of course, even though I'm standing inside that elite's hitbox, if I happen to get hit by these void bullets, then of course that still would have been troublesome. And then in that case, it would have been a good idea for me to pop Cloak of Shadows, which I did in that case. But I didn't really do a great job of it either. So anyway, we're moving on. We still have we're back to Leadenfoot, and we're fighting Misha right over here. So Leadenfoot here, it's not very troublesome when dealing with the Rexar skip in this case. And as a fun bit of trivia this week, it was split personality that I had to deal with. And doing the Rexar skip on top of split personality can be very, very dangerous because it doesn't take a whole lot for you to screw up and just die when you're trying to do the skip. So you'll see an example of me running it in just a moment. So here we go. My life is at max. Goulash is running. So here I am. I'm taking pretty big damage. And with Leadenfoot, as long as I'm not in combat, I'm okay. But you can see my HP dipping. I stutter a little bit here. And I'm down to about 20% life. So if I had made a mistake, like let's say if split personality was going on there, and I had low enough life, I probably wouldn't be able to survive that skip, especially if I messed up. So in this case here, I'm like, okay, what do? I need to eat something. I don't have food, but I do have more goulash, so I just eat more goulash. Not a big deal. So with half my sanity left, I go for this pack here, knowing that I'm going to be backtracking and going for the totem. And you want to be really careful with this one. I like to warn people about this one. That particular mob can hit really hard if you're not careful. Plus, the stuns from those poisons can be a problem as well. But with those guys cleared out, I have plenty of sanity. And I believe in hindsight, I totally forgot to orb, which is awful because there you go. You just saw me get hit by a trap, so I'm like, uh oh. So this was entirely my fault. My advice: definitely orb if you have one before Rexar, because I would have had I have orb, I have an extra life, and everything. I could have went at this fight with a lot less panic. But now it's a panic. He's at half life. My sanity is getting really, really low, and I'm trying to work these darn boars. And now it's just me and him. Thankfully, I don't have any. It doesn't look like I have any dots going on him because I was just kind of losing my mind at that point. I ended up using my extra life, but we're okay. We're okay. I believe I still did an orb before Rexar. I'm sorry, before Thrall. So let's see if I remember making that mistake here. So again, the lesson to be learned is don't get cocky. You might make a mistake that you might not be able to get out of. So anyway, we're heading back. And then I almost mounted. Whoops. So we're gonna skip through as usual. Crawl our way over to Thrall. And I'm pretty sure I did not use my orb. I think I just kind of ran in thinking, okay, let's do it, guys. Woohoo. Let's see if I was right. And what do I do? I go for it. Gosh, this was dumb. That was a dumb move. So again, don't get cocky. Man, don't get cocky. So now it's game time. I have half sanity. It's go time. Of course, it's just a matter of dealing with the fact that this guy has a lot of life, and you have to deal with Promise Power. So, meaning if you're not standing inside Promise Power, you're doing considerably less damage than you would be So you want to do your best to maximize that damage whenever you can. So that's going to mean like if you got to run over Promise Power really quick so you can get like a Reaping Flame attack in, cool. That's only going to help. And then of course, if you can reposition like I am right here, go ahead and then go to town. This, of course, is not nearly as reliable once you start dealing with masks, and especially Burn Bridge, which prevents you from walking over your own stuff. So once in that case, once you step onto Promised Power, you can't leave. So now my sanity is getting pretty darn low. I'm at 1/5 sanity. I got hit by, I believe it was one of his big AOE things of all things. But thankfully, I'm able to do enough damage. I get enough crits and nice things to to get him down. And oh, there's my victory dance. So that run could have been a heck of a lot smoother if I had simply orbed right before Rexar. That is totally my bad. So just don't do what I did there. That was a really big mistake on my part. So let's celebrate. Let's do our victory lap and see what kind of good stuff we hopefully get from this last run. Because this rogue is done. He is ready to be put on the shelf. And what does he get? Azeroth gear. Great. This run was actually done alongside the mage and the rogue. I did this all kind of in one sitting, and I happen to get Azeroth gear on each and every one. So great, grats to me. But anyway, that's going to be it for the rogue here. And of course, for every other class, you can check out the playlist in the description below so you can find the class that is relevant to you to see how you can complete horrific visions as a normal person or someone who just is looking for bragging rights or just looking for tips. So that's going to be it from me. If you enjoyed this video or if this was helpful at all, please leave a like and subscribe for more of this and all things Warcraft. We'll see you next time. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.